Captain Rian Holt floated in the cold silence of deep space, far from every living thing he knew. His repair mission near the dead star was supposed to be simple. Fix a broken satellite, check the gravity sensors, return to the ship. But nothing ever stayed simple near a dead sun. The star below him was ancient and dangerous. It gave no heat, no light, no life. It was like a giant stone in space, turning slowly, waiting for something. Or someone. Rian scanned the area again. His helmet visor showed empty space. No ships, no signals. No danger. Then a weak beep suddenly echoed in his suit. Life signal detected. Distance, 402 meters. Status critical. Rian froze. There should not be any life here. Nothing could survive this close to a dead star. He turned his head slowly, trying to find the source, and then he saw it. A small pod spun helplessly in space, drifting toward the dead star's pull. Its surface was cracked. Its lights were fading, and inside Rian saw a shape. A woman, still, silent, weak. He zoomed in with his visor camera. Her eyes were closed. Her skin had a soft silver blue glow. Her long white hair floated around her like frozen smoke. She looked peaceful, but dying. A red timer flickered on the glass of her pod. 00:29, 0 hours 0 minutes and 28 seconds. Rian felt his chest tighten. This woman, whoever she was, had less than 30 seconds before her life clock reached zero. He called to his ship. Astra, prepare emergency tractor beam. I need full lock on unidentified stasis pod. A mechanical voice answered, calm but worried. Captain, distance is too great. Gravitational pull from dead star is increasing. Tractor beam efficiency is only 40%. 40% is better than zero, Rian said. He moved toward the pod using his suit thrusters, but the star's gravity tugged hard at him. His body tilted. His thrusters fought to stabilize him. The pod spun faster. The timer dropped. 0 hours 0 minutes and 20 seconds. Rian's breath quickened. Astra, extend the rescue arm. Rescue arm cannot reach target. The ship replied. There was only one option left. Rian would have to reach her himself. He shot forward, pushing his thrusters to maximum. His heart pounded as he raced toward the spinning pod. The dead stars. Pull grew stronger. His suit began to shake. 0 hours 0 minutes and 15 seconds. The pod slipped downward, drifting closer to the star's deadly gravity well. Come on. Come on, Rian whispered. He extended his arm. His gloved fingers reached out, the black space around him stretching like a cold ocean. 00 to 010. Almost there. Almost. He grabbed the edge of the pod. The force nearly ripped his arm off. His suit alarms screamed. The star pulled both of them downward. Captain, you are entering critical gravitational zone, Astra warned. Return immediately. I'm not leaving her. Rian shouted. He pulled the pod toward him, trying to steady it with his thrusters. The pod jerked violently, and the crack in its glass grew longer. The timer kept flashing. 0 hours 0 minutes and 7 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 6 seconds. Rian pushed his thrusters again, but the star answered with a sudden silent tremor, a strange pulse that made space around him ripple like water. The shockwave hit him hard. He lost his grip. Pod spun away. No. He yelled, stretching his arm again. Desperate, he fired a burst from his thrusters, lunging forward. He slammed into the pod and wrapped both arms around it. The impact knocked the air out of him, but he held on tight. 0 hours 0 minutes and 4 seconds. He turned his body and fired thrusters in the opposite direction. His suit overheated. Pain shot down his back. But the pod slowed just enough. Astra, lock tractor beam. Rian shouted. Tractor beam locked, the ship answered. A faint blue beam wrapped around the pod and Rian at the same time. Together they began to drift away from the dead star. 0 hours 0 minutes and 3 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 2 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 1 second. The timer froze. Rian stared at it, his breathing heavy. Then, the alien woman's eyes slowly opened. Soft, silver, glowing eyes. She looked straight at him through the cracked glass. Her lips trembled as she whispered one weak word. "Help." Rian swallowed hard. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know how she ended up here. He didn't know why her life clock almost killed her, but he knew one thing. He would not let her die. "Hang on," he whispered back. "I've got you." And he pulled her pod toward safety, while the dead star behind them began to tremble once more. As if something inside it had just awakened. Rian carried the cracked stasis pod into the medical bay, his boots hitting the metal floor with heavy steps. His body still shook from the intense rescue, and sweat rolled down his back. The alien woman inside the pod lay still again, her glowing eyes closed as if she had used the last of her strength, just to whisper that one word. The life clock on the glass had stopped at 0 hours 0 minutes and 1 second. 1 second from death. Rian stared at it, unable to believe how close she had come. If he had been even one breath slower, she would not be alive right now. Astra's calm voice echoed through the room. "Captain, should I attempt to open the stasis pod?" Rian nodded. "Do it gently. The pod is cracked," he said. "If it breaks, she might not survive." Mechanical arms lowered from the ceiling and slowly worked on the pod's locking system. A thin hiss filled the room as cold vapor escaped. Lights flickered, metal creaked, and finally the pod opened with a soft click. The alien woman lay inside, curled slightly, her long white hair glowing faintly like moonlight. Her silver blue skin shimmered softly. She looked fragile, like someone who had spent too much time in cold darkness. Rian lifted her carefully. She was light, almost weightless, like holding air wrapped in soft fabric. He placed her on the medical bed and stepped back as sensors scanned her body. Astra spoke again. "Captain, her biology is unknown, but her vital energy is extremely low. Her species appears to rely on something called a life clock. If the clock reaches 0, her body shuts down forever." Rian frowned. "Can we restart it?" "No," Astra replied. "Only her own people know how." Rian looked at the frozen timer again. 1 second. She lived on one final heartbeat that refused to fade. Suddenly the woman gasped. Her back arched. Her fingers curled. Her glowing eyes opened again, wide with fear. Rian stepped forward. "It's okay. You're safe now." She tried to sit up, but her body trembled too much. He gently supported her shoulders. Her eyes searched the room, confused and frightened. "Where am I?" she whispered in a soft, melodic voice. "You're on my ship," Rian said. "I rescued you from orbit. Your pod was breaking apart." She blinked, trying to understand his words. "Orbit? The star. The dead star." "Yes," Rian said. "You were seconds from falling into its gravity." Her hand lifted weakly to touch her chest. "My life clock, did it reach 0? "Almost," Rian answered. "It stopped at 1 second." A look of fear crossed her face. "That is bad, very bad." Rian studied her. "Why? What happens if it reaches 0? "My soul," she whispered, "is bound to the clock. If it reaches 0 again, I will not return, ever." Rian felt a cold chill run down his spine. This was not just a biological system. It was deeper, spiritual, ancient, sacred. "What is your name?" he asked softly. "Nerali," she said. "Of the Seraphite people." Rian had heard the name Seraphite before whispers in old space journals. A rare race, peaceful, secretive, known for long life and strange glowing energy inside them. But he had never seen one in person. "What happened to you, Nerali?" he asked. Her eyes filled with sadness. Our caravan ship was attacked. Pirates, cruel ones. They want our light cores. They take them from our bodies. Many of my people died. Rian clenched his jaw. He hated pirates. He hated anyone who hurt the weak. I was placed in a stasis pod, Nirali continued. I tried to escape, but the pod was damaged during the fight. It drifted for, I do not know how long. Her voice shook. I thought I would die in darkness. You didn't, Rian said. Not while I was close enough to reach you. Nirali looked at him with gratitude deeper than words. Why would a human risk his life for a stranger? Rian shrugged lightly. Because you needed help. And because no one deserves to die alone. Nirali smiled weakly. It was a soft smile, fragile but beautiful. But then her smile faded. Her eyes widened in fear. Captain, Astra interrupted. I am detecting a strange energy surge from the dead star. Rian turned sharply. A surge? The star is dead. It was dead, Astra corrected. Now something is waking. The energy is rising fast. Nirali gasped and grabbed Rian's arm. No, that cannot be. Something sleeps inside dead stars. Something old. Something built by my ancestors long ago. Rian stared at her. What is inside that star? Nirali whispered with trembling. Lips, a guardian machine, a gravemind sentinel. It wakes when a seraphite is in danger. A deep rumble shook the ship. A monstrous shadow rose from the dead star's surface. And it turned toward them. The ship trembled again, harder this time, as if something massive had moved beneath them. The dead star below, silent for millions of years, now pulsed with a faint red glow like a heart trying to beat after ages of stillness. Rian grabbed the railing. Astra, what is happening? The ship's voice responded, unusually tense. Captain, the star is releasing energy waves I cannot identify. Something large is rising from its surface. Nirali's breathing grew fast and shaky. She sat upright, gripping the sides of the medical bed even though her strength was low. It awakened. It really awakened. Rian looked at her sharply. What exactly is waking up? Her silver eyes widened. The Gravemind Sentinel. Rian waited for her to explain, but she looked too afraid to speak. He turned to the window. Instead, what he saw made the breath freeze in his chest. A gigantic metallic form was pulling itself out of the star's crust. Lava-like dust slid off its armor as it rose. Its shape was neither fully machine nor fully creature. A massive head with glowing symbols, long spiked limbs. Wings made of broken light. It looked like a forgotten god. Astra's voice shook. Captain, the size is over 2,000 meters. It is locking onto our ship. Rian swore under his breath. Nirali, what does it want? Her voice came out small. It was made to protect Seraphites. But its mind is old. It may not understand friend from enemy. It may think you captured me. Rian stared at the rising titan. So it thinks I'm hurting you? Yes, she whispered, guilt filling her voice. It will destroy you to save me. The Gravemind Sentinel turned. A single red eye opened on its head, round, ancient, watching. Its light scanned across space like a blade. It saw the ship. It saw Rian. A thunderous sound rumbled through space, silent to the ear, but heavy enough to make the ship shake violently. We need to move. Rian shouted. He ran to the cockpit. Astra transferred controls instantly. Rian slammed his hands onto the thruster panel and pulled the ship away from the star as fast as possible. The Gravemind Sentinel spread its wings, then it launched forward. The ship jerked violently as a shockwave hit them. Alarms flashed red everywhere. Captain, Astra shouted. The Sentinel fired a gravitational pulse. Shields are down by 60%. Rian grit his teeth. Raise engines, full power. The engines roared. The ship shot forward. But the Sentinel followed easily, as if it were gliding on invisible rails. Its body glowed brighter with each movement. Patterns lit up across its armor symbols from a language older than most galaxies. Nerali stumbled into the cockpit, holding onto the walls for support. It will not stop. It believes I am in danger. You must show it that I am safe. How? Rian asked. I do not know, she admitted. Rian pushed the ship into a tight turn, trying to weave through debris drifting around the star. Chunks of rock tumbled past them. Another blast shot toward them. Astra barely raised the shields in time. The ship shook, lights flickering. Damage? Rian said. Minor, Astra replied. But repeated attacks will destroy us. Nerali closed her eyes. Her hands glowed faintly. The grave mind can sense seraphite energy if I focus. Maybe it will hear me. She pressed her palms together. Her glowing energy pulsed outward, soft, bright, like warm moonlight. The Sentinel paused, its wings folded halfway. Its huge eye dimmed, as if confused. It's working, Rian whispered. Nerali opened her eyes slowly. No, it is not confusion. It is recognition. The grave mind lifted its head and released another pulse. This time not an attack, but a message. A code. A call. Astra decoded the signal and projected it through the speakers. The sound was haunting, low, musical, ancient. Nerali's face went pale. She shook her head slowly. That is a seraphite leader code, but that code is dead. It has not been used for thousands of years. Rian frowned. What does it say? Her voice trembled. It says, return the lost heir to the star. Restore the life clock. Begin the awakening. Rian stared at her. Lost heir? Nerali? What are you? Not telling me? I don't know, she whispered. I don't remember. Another pulse hit the ship, not violent, but commanding. The Sentinel was no longer attacking. It was calling them back to the dead star. Demanding it. Astra, Rian said quietly. Is it pulling us? Yes, and I cannot break free. Nerali held her chest as her life clock flickered faintly. She whispered, it wants me to return to the star's core. And I think something in there can fix my life clock. Rian looked at the collapsing star, then at the massive machine dragging them back toward it. This rescue had just become something much bigger. The ship shook again as the grave mind Sentinel pulled them closer to the dead star. Its massive arms moved slowly but with purpose, as if it had already decided their fate. Rian wrestled with the controls, but they barely responded. Every time he tried to change direction, the ship drifted back toward the star, like a leaf in a powerful river. Astra, I need full reverse power. Rian shouted. Engines at maximum, she replied, but gravitational pull is increasing. Faster than thrust capability. Rian slammed his hand against the console. We can't just be dragged to our deaths. Nerali stood behind him, holding onto the chair for balance. Her glowing skin had dimmed again. Stress clearly weakened her. It is not trying to kill us, she whispered. It thinks it is protecting me. Protecting you? Rian said, glaring out the window at the monster. It's about to pull us into a collapsing star. Nerali lowered her head. To the grave mind Sentinel, the star is not dangerous. Inside its core lies ancient technology. Technology my people made long before I was born. Rian stared at her. Technology that can fix your life clock? She nodded slowly. Yes, the chronowell. It can reset a Seraphite's life clock. But it was hidden inside dead stars, so enemies could never reach it. Rian blinked. So, you're saying that thing wants to bring you home? No, she said softly. It wants to bring me back to a past I do not remember. Before Rian could ask what she meant, the Sentinel suddenly folded its wings inward and released a powerful gravitational blast. It wasn't an attack, it was pushing space itself, bending it. The ship lurched upward, Thrown away from the star for a brief moment, Rian saw his chance. Astra, fire main engines now. The ship shot forward, breaking free of the sentinels. Pull for a split second. Rian turned them sharply, heading into the thick asteroid field that circled the dead star. Massive dark rocks floated everywhere like frozen mountains. "Captain," Astra warned. "Asteroid field ahead. Collision risk is extremely high." "That's the idea," Rian said. "If it can't follow us through tight places, we might escape." Nerali grabbed the back of his seat, fear in her glowing eyes. "The Sentinel will not stop. It does not fear danger." "Yeah?" Rian muttered. "Let's test that." He pushed the ship deep into the asteroid field. The hull scraped against a spinning rock, sparks bursting in the vacuum. Rian twisted the ship left, then right, weaving through boulders the size of cities. Each turn felt like a knife's edge between life and death. Behind them, the Gravemind Sentinel entered the asteroid field 2. And it did not slow down. It tore through the rocks like a giant dark angel ripping cloth. Massive stones shattered against its armor. Some bounced off its wings. Others exploded into dust the moment they touched it. Rian stared in disbelief. "You've got to be kidding me." Nerali shook her head. "It cannot be destroyed by simple matter. It was built inside stars. It has survived supernovas and time itself." "So basically," Rian said, gripping the controls tighter, "we're running from an immortal machine with the personality of a confused guard dog." The Sentinel released another gravitational pulse. Asteroids around them shattered violently, sending debris flying in every direction. One large piece slammed into the ship, shaking it to its core. "Shields down to 40%, Astra warned. "Hull integrity decreasing." Rian's heart pounded. "Nerali, if we don't lose it soon, the ship won't hold." Nerali pressed her hand against the window. Her palm glowed, and once again, the Sentinel hesitated. It stopped mid-flight, its wings folding inward like an animal bowing its head. "It is sensing my signal," she whispered. "It thinks I am calling it." "That's good," Rian said. "Maybe we can." But then Nerali's expression changed. Her eyes widened with fear. No, the Gravemind is not only reacting to me. It is listening to something else." Rian frowned. "Something else? What?" She pointed toward the dead star. A beam of golden light shot out of a crack in the star's surface. A signal, a command. "Call older than the Sentinel itself." Astra translated the encoded message. "Captain, the star is broadcasting the Seraphite royal command. It states, return the air to the core. Begin restoration." Nerali staggered backward, gripping her chest. "I am not royalty," she whispered. "Why is it calling me that? Why does the star recognize me?" Rian didn't answer, because another shockwave hit the ship. This one from the star itself. The Sentinel spread its wings again and roared silently, the sound vibrating through every metal plate on the ship. "It knows we resisted," Nerali whispered. "It will not stop now." Rian stared out the window as the Sentinel turned its glowing eye on them. He took a deep breath. "Then we're done running." The ship shuddered as the Gravemind Sentinel wrapped a beam of gravitational energy around it, pulling it away from the asteroid field. There was no escape now. Rian watched helplessly as the huge machine guided them toward a widening crack on the dead star's surface, a glowing fissure that pulsed with golden light. "It's opening a path," Nerali whispered, her voice trembling. "The star. It's alive in ways humans cannot understand." "Alive?" Rian muttered. "It looks like a rock." Nerali shook her head. "Dead stars hold memories. Deep inside them, ancient Seraphite machines sleep. They only wake for a reason. And that reason is you," Rian asked quietly. She didn't respond. Her eyes remained fixed on the golden light spilling outward. Like the breath of a sleeping giant, the ship drifted into the crack. The darkness inside swallowed them. Then, suddenly, the interior lit up. Soft blue crystals embedded in the walls began to glow. The ship floated through a massive hollow chamber carved within the dead star. Strange, ancient structures covered. Every surface spires shaped like feathers, rings that rotated slowly on their own, pillars filled with moving patterns of light. Rian's mouth fell open. "This place, it's like a temple." "It is," Nerali whispered. "The star sanctum." As if recognizing her presence, the glowing markings on the walls brightened. A soft hum filled the air, vibrating through Rian's chest. "The Gravemind." Sentinel followed behind them and landed on a platform of shimmering metal. It folded its wings, lowering its enormous head as if bowing. The ship settled on a circular landing pad. Rian helped Nerali stand. Her legs trembled, but she insisted on walking. Her life clock flickered faintly on her wrist. They stepped out into the glowing chamber, and Nerali's breath caught. "The chrono well," she whispered. At the center of the room stood a tall, glowing pillar made of liquid light. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Thousands of tiny rings floated around it, spinning gently. Rian frowned. "This is supposed to fix your life clock?" "Yes," she said. "It resets and stabilizes the core of my soul's timing. Only ancient Seraphites could build such a thing." As she approached the chrono well, the floating rings slowed. The light inside the pillar swirled faster, turning golden. It reacted to her. "It recognizes me," she whispered. Rian noticed something strange. Then, symbols on the pillar reshaped themselves. They formed a pattern, a crest. Nerali stared at it, a flash of fear crossing her face. That is the royal crest of the Seraphite High Line." "Royal?" Rian asked. "As in, ruling family?" "I am not royal," she said sharply. "I grew up in a healer's village, far from the capital. I never held power. I never held rank." Rian crossed his arms. "Then why does this ancient machine say otherwise?" Nerali opened her mouth, but no words came. The sentinel behind them released a low tone. The entire chamber responded with a soft echo. One of the rings spun away from the chrono well and hovered in front of Nerali. Slowly, it projected a memory holographic, shimmering like a dream. A baby wrapped in silver cloth. A woman holding her gently. Guards kneeling. The royal crest glowing above them. "That child," Nerali whispered, stepping forward. "That child is me." The memory shifted. A shadow stood behind the queen, a tall Seraphite in dark armor. He held a device shaped like a dagger. A betrayal. A sudden attack. The queen shielded the child. Lights flashed. The traitor lunged again. A group of loyal guardians rushed in, grabbing Nerali, placing her into a tiny stasis cradle. The last thing shown was the queen's hand covering the cradle, sending the baby away. Then darkness. Nerali fell to her knees. My memories. They were hidden, protected. I was never supposed to know. Rian knelt beside her. You were the heir, the lost heir. The star recognized you because its machines were programmed to protect your bloodline. She shook her head, tears in her glowing eyes. Then why? Did pirates come after me? How did they know where I was? Rian's jaw tightened. Someone betrayed you. Someone from your own people. Before Nerali could respond, the star chamber trembled violently. Crystal shattered. The floor shook. The Gravemind Sentinel roared, its huge body lighting up. Astra's voice echoed from Rian's wrist communicator. Captain, the dead star is destabilizing. Collapse is imminent. Nerali turned to the chrono well. I must reset my life clock now. If the star collapses before I do, I will die. Rian nodded and stood. Then do it. I'll protect you. Nerali stepped into the swirling light of the chrono well. The rings closed around her like a protective cage. As the glowing energy wrapped her body, her life clock began to shine again. But the star's core cracked loudly. sending shockwaves across the chamber. Rian looked up. The entire chamber was falling apart, and the reset was only halfway through. Asterisk. The chamber shook as if the whole star groaned in pain. Dust fell from the high crystal ceiling. Cracks spread across the glowing walls like lightning trapped inside stone. Rian stood with his arms braced against the trembling floor, his eyes fixed on Nerali inside the chrono well. Bright rings spun around her body, each one releasing waves of energy that wrapped her like ribbons of light. Her eyes were closed, her face calm. Her long white hair floated in the glowing field like strands of silk, but outside the well, everything was falling apart. "Astra!" Rian shouted into his wrist. "Status of the star?" Astra's voice crackled with static. "Captain, internal. Pressure inside the star core is rising at extreme speed. Collapse will occur in minutes." Rian clenched his jaw. "We don't have minutes. Nerali, hurry." But Nerali didn't respond. She stood still, lost in the light. Then suddenly her body jerked once, then twice. Her eyes flew open, glowing brighter than before. The light around her exploded upward, forming a pillar that reached the chamber ceiling. A deep, ancient hum filled the room. Rian shielded his face as the chrono well flared with golden energy. The spinning rings slowed, then melted into floating symbols. Nerali gasped, her hands clutching her chest. Rian stepped forward. "Nerali, talk to me. Are you okay?" Her voice came out soft but powerful, layered with something old something. "Royal, I remember," she whispered. The rings lit up around her, projecting memories into the air. A throne room of shining crystal, a queen with glowing silver hair, guards kneeling. A child held close to her heart. The queen's voice echoed in the projection. "If the High Line falls, the heir must live. Hide her, protect her, until the stars call her home." Rian stared at Nerali. "You are the heir, the queen's daughter." Nerali's eyes filled with tears. "I was never told. They hid me with healers far from the capital. They made me believe I was ordinary. But the truth, my people were dying. The kingdom needed protection." "Someone betrayed your family," Rian said. The projection changed, the queen arguing with her guards. A tall seraphite in dark armor stepping forward, his blade glowing, the queen falling. Blood turning into silver light. Nerali cried out and covered her face. The memory struck her like a physical blow. Rian stepped inside the weakening energy field and held her shoulders. "Hey, look at me. That wasn't your fault." "My mother died protecting me," Nerali whispered. "She sent me away in the hope I would survive. But the traitor, he followed me. He told pirates about Seraphite ships. He hunted us for years." "The same traitor who damaged your life clock," Rian said. "The one who wanted you dead before anyone found you." Nerali nodded weakly. "He feared the heir. He feared what I might become." Rian squeezed her hand. "And now you remember." She wiped her glowing tears and straightened herself. Her posture changed. She no longer looked fragile. She looked like someone who carried a legacy in her bones. "The Gravemind Sentinel wasn't attacking you," Rian said. "It recognized your bloodline. It was trying to return you to the place where you could awaken your true self." Nerali looked up at the massive machine guarding the chamber. The Gravemind lowered its head to her in clear respect, wings folding. "Like a knight saluting a queen. I am heir of the High Line," she whispered. "Last descendant of a fallen royal family. I did not ask for this, but the stars chose for me." Before Rian could speak, the chamber shook violently again. A huge crack opened across the floor, splitting the room in two. Astra shouted through Rian's communicator. "Captain, the star core is destabilizing. We must evacuate immediately." The rings around Nerali faded as the chrono well completed its work. Her life clock glowed bright and stable, now reset to full energy. Nerali stepped out of the well. Her strength fully returned, but their victory was not enough. The star roared like a beast in its death throes. The Gravemind Sentinel spread its wings and projected a protective shield over Nerali, but the shield cracked under the intense pressure. "The star will collapse," Nerali said. "Everything inside will be destroyed. Even the Sentinel cannot survive a total implosion," Rian nodded. "Then we run." The chamber entrance began to crumble. Rian grabbed Nerali's hand and pulled her toward the ship. Alarms rang from every direction. Crystals fell like deadly hail. The floor tilted behind them. The Sentinel tried to hold up the collapsing ceiling, but even its mighty arms trembled. Energy lines across its wings flickered. "It is sacrificing itself," Nerali whispered. Rian turned to her. "We need to get out. You're alive now. You're awakened. That's what the Sentinel wanted." Nerali hesitated only a moment, then nodded. They ran, stumbling over broken stone, dodging falling debris. The star shook again, this time so violently that Rian nearly lost his balance. A massive crack opened behind them, swallowing half the chamber in molten light. They reached the ship as the final quake hit. Rian pushed Nerali inside and jumped in after her. "Astra!" he shouted. "Launch now!" The engines roared, blasting them upward, away from the collapsing core. Behind them, the dead star screamed its final breath, and the Gravemind Sentinel let out one last silent roar as it was swallowed by fire. Nerali pressed a hand to the window, tears glowing on her cheeks. "My guardian is gone." Rian put a hand on her shoulder. "Not gone. It gave its life to save yours." He didn't say what he was thinking. Now the traitor would know she was alive, and nothing in the galaxy would stop him from coming for her. The ship shot upward, through the collapsing star, flames and molten light chasing it like hungry monsters. Rian gripped the controls with both hands, sweat dripping from his brow. The engines groaned under the pressure. Warning lights flashed everywhere. "Come on," he whispered to the ship. "Just a little farther." A massive shockwave burst from behind. The ship jerked violently. Nerali tumbled against the wall, catching herself before she fell. Astra's voice trembled. "Captain, hull integrity is dropping. We must exit the collapse zone immediately." Rian pushed the engines to their limit. The stars above looked so far away, tiny, unreachable points of light. But slowly, painfully, the ship inched toward them. Inside the star, a final explosion erupted. A glowing tsunami of energy surged upward. Nerali's face went pale. "If that wave reaches us." "I know," Rian said. He didn't slow down. He didn't look back. He only pushed forward, teeth clenched, heart pounding. The shockwave hit. The entire ship tumbled end over end. Panels ripped free. Sparks flew. The lights went dark. Nerali screamed as she flew across the room until Rian reached out and caught her, holding her tight. The firestorm engulfed them. Then silence. The ship burst out of the dead star like a stone escaping from a cracking shell. Behind them, the star collapsed in on itself. A blinding white flash filled space as the ancient core imploded, shrinking into a tiny glowing sphere, a newborn singularity. Rian and Nerali stared out the window, breathless. The dead star was gone. In its place, a quiet void remained. Nerali pressed her hand against the glass. "The Gravemind, the whole sanctum, everything is gone." Rian placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "They saved you. That was their purpose." Her eyes shimmered with silver tears. "I will honor their sacrifice. I must find my people. I must reclaim what was lost." Rian nodded. "Then I'll take you to them." But even as he spoke, something tugged at the back of his mind. A warning. A quiet dread growing inside him. Astra confirmed it seconds later. "Captain, we are being tracked." Rian stiffened. "Tracked by who?" "The Sentinel is gone." "Not the Sentinel," Astra replied. "A Seraphite signal, very old, very powerful. It is following Nerali's life signature. Nerali inhaled sharply. The traitor. Rian turned toward her. The same one from your memories? She nodded slowly. He survived, and he has been searching for me ever since. My awakening has alerted him. He will come. Rian crossed his arms. Let him come. I'm not afraid. Her eyes widened. You don't understand, Rian. He is not like me. Seraphites of the High Guard are stronger, faster. Their light cores are weaponized. He can tear ships apart with bare hands. Rian shrugged. So? I've fought worse. No, Nerali said softly, stepping closer. You have not. Their eyes met, and the ship was silent except for the faint hum of damaged engines. For a moment, the galaxy felt empty, just the two of them floating in endless space. He smiled gently. Well, he hasn't met me yet. A small laugh escaped her, weak but real. You are a strange human, Captain Holt. And you, he replied, are full of surprises. She touched her chest, where her life clock now glowed steady and strong. You saved my life more than once. You risked everything. Most would have left me to die in space. Rian's voice softened. Leaving you wasn't an option. She blinked slowly, her eyes shimmering. Then come with me to my home world. My people will listen to you if you stand beside me. I don't want to do this alone. Rian hesitated. His old life, his missions, his orders, his reputation felt distant and unimportant now. A new path lay ahead, one he never expected. Standing with the air of a fallen royal race facing enemies older than empires, he smiled. All right, I'll go with you. Nerali let out a long breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Relief washed over her face. She stepped closer, placing her hand over his heart. Thank you, Rian. Before he could speak, the ship alarm beeped again. Astra's voice grew sharp. Captain. Enemy vessel approaching. Seraphite High Guard signature confirmed. It is coming fast. Nerali stiffened. It's him. Rian took a deep breath, his jaw tightening. Then our journey starts now. He stepped toward the cockpit. Nerali. He said, stay behind me. She shook her head. Not this time. I fight too. She stood beside him, glowing brighter than before, strong, awakened, royal. Together, they faced the stars ahead. A new enemy approached. A new destiny waited, and for the first time in years, Rian Holt felt alive.